was a fantastic panel. There was someone that thought it'd be great to play up comments about the Mortis scene that we were watching. Yeah, it would have killed me. If there was one additional comment, I was going to politely stop and say, hey, pump the brakes.
So I have the ID.
I can see why you're Say what? I can see why you're Yeah. I'm nervous as all hell.
Oh.
Woo! Let's go! Let's go. What's your name?
Sophia, you?
Sophia, LS. Oh yeah. What are your pronouns?
Is it header?
Radical.
When?
My bird is a helper.
Yeah, you can set your bag up next to mine so everyone can see Renika with their little PS5.
I guess.
Although she kind of flew over to hide with Tilty.
Reniko, stop doing a flip.
Renika, stop
I
doing
love
a
you.
flip.
Renika, you are not going to take a bath with Tilty.
Full motion cartwheel.
My Ida bag is so old, it's falling apart.
It's not actually.
It's like 10 years old.
Yeah, but it's not falling apart. Like, that's a piece of foam that I bought additionally. Your bag's doing fine.
Anyway, here's my messy neurodivergency Ida bag.
Actually, I need to sit closer because I can see.
Why are you facing it away from the crowd?
Fair, I'm very
Hey,
smart.
take a look at my neurodivergent bag. Shows the back.
I mean, that's, you need the moral support of your Yuri.
Yeah, she does. That's why she has plushies of us and us right here. Come on, literally just put it.
No!
Yes. Maybe.
Unlike yesterday, I might actually be able to talk because I had exactly one drink. Like 2 hours ago. Oh, can you audio adjust this one down there?
I am not touching the mixer, honey.
Okay, I'll do it.
You want them?
Do we know which ones is?
No, that's why I didn't want to touch it. Actually, there's a very good chance it's just one of these things, considering. Yep, 1, 2.
Sorry for the tapping.
Well done.
Try to get
Yeah, it does.
Okay, that's better. Thank you very much.
You turn the gain down just a tish.
Thank you so much. Which is funny considering I'm going to last, what, all of 5 seconds before I start standing up to gesticulate, saying F the microphone.
Don't be mean to the microphone. It's trying very hard.
No, the microphone's doing great. It's just that it cannot contain me. Oh, I have definitely seen them around. Oh, we share 35 followers. Yeah, I think I've seen the previous panelist around.
We should have gotten all their agreements. Oh my god, and having plushes.
Yeah, gee, you think I actually brought that up and said in advance, hey, we need to watch this because I already know you're going to desperately need these plushies, but I don't know which ones. And the answer was, yeah. And for one of the characters in 4 copies.
Just don't make me hit you with my cane.
Go for it. You can literally cane me when I'm getting too far into the rant. It extends and everything.
It doesn't extend, it shrinks. Okay, 5 minutes. Oh, that's a lot of people. Eric, is the phone recording?
Yeah, because I did this update right now.
Oh, hey, Nina icon.
Yes, and the other one writes Girls Band Cry fan fiction. What do you want? What do you
I
want?
should do that.
We literally should have just co-collabed a panel.
I'm gonna stem with this one ball wallet. I'm gonna take one picture of the crowd, not to take a picture of anyone, just to. I just kind of remember.
Don't worry, she doesn't know what a phone is.
Liar.
What is a straight rotating?
There's the device that brings her idle games to steal her attention away and waste the hours away. But a phone? I don't know. Wouldn't that need to be able to make calls?
I have social anxiety, I can't make calls.
What, are you saying that you have someone in your life purely to make phone calls for you? Who would that be?
No.
Okay, then who am I having to make my phone calls?
Me?
Thank you. I'll press the buttons on so you don't have to deal with the robot.
Yeah.
Beep boop.
Beep boop.
I don't think that it.
Out of anxiety?
Yeah, it's a tiny bit dusty.
Oh, fair enough.
Having a dust allergy is fun. I don't think,
Oh, that's because I hovered over the task
I
bar.
don't think because I've hit your head enough.
The dry air doesn't help with that allergy.
Oh, absolutely.
Funny story, my nose just started bleeding when I was putting on makeup. I
Oh
was like,
no!
I was like, my nasal spray plus the dry air. I was like, the scene turned red.
I like your Watchnari cosplays.
Thank you so much. We had a Watnari panel last night. They put us at 12:30
Yeah,
at
I
night.
didn't go because I was sleeping.
Perfectly understandable.
It's okay. I thought I wouldn't be able to make the whole hour, and I barely made it halfway through, and we hit the entire hour. I've already written over 100,000 words on Watnari analysis alone. Why am I hosting this panel?
No clue.
For the bit.
Yeah, I should sit closer.
All right, so we are 1 minute early. I am perfectly okay starting just a little bit early. Hi, yes, hello. Thank you all so much for coming to this panel, my second panel ever, but God forbid I've been going to them for 10 years, so. Outside of the fact that this is gonna look a little sparse, out of the fact that much in line with the character I'm currently dressed as, I may or may not have accidentally spent 40 hours in the last 5 days playing Marathon. Cutting corners a little bit, but all of the actual writing and content for this was done months in advance by her, none of which I'm going to actually read out because everything comes out much better in a natural flow. Welcome to the Neurodivergence in Yuri panel. This is coming to you from 3 women that are overwhelmingly neurodivergent. I am the most normal of us. I have ADHD and God knows what that's completely undiagnosed. My partner here has borderline personality disorder by the definition used prior to 2023 and happens to have dissociative identity disorder. She swaps out with her sister every other week and it is a fantastic time. And my other partner here is just very, very autistic, likely with ADHD, and goddamn do we love our men and women who have the exact same problems we do.
Hey, Mr. Orb.
So, what are we calling neurodivergency? That is not something that's going to be easily defined, especially because as soon as you start looking into anything like this, you're going to realize that you're very disappointed in society. Especially if you start looking into personality disorders and what they actually entail. If other people could struggle to understand you or for you to fit in with others, we're counting it. Autism, anxiety, ADHD, general personality disorders, especially B cluster because we're biased. I love my women with messy personality disorders and we stan and we support everyone. Dissociative identity disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, Tourette's, bipolar, rejection sensitivity disorder, and various traumas that kind of get you into any of the other definitions by default.
You can tell me that on what?
Sorry. In case you're just here for contextless recommendations, this is not a full list, but this is what I could fit on one slide. Go ahead, I'm going to show it again at the end after, in case you want to vibe check my taste first. Don't worry, I am very confident that almost all these are going to make you happy, except for, I don't know, maybe not Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night, because they had a final episode that, I swear to God, they changed the script to be the exact opposite of every other part of the show. I still can't believe it. You're also going to notice that there's a suspicious little Taki Sheena plushie down here. You're going to find out what that means soon enough. Yeah, are you joking? Like, do you really think...
No, I mean in the sense of, like, that would make you happy.
Oh, absolutely.
Look, this good fan wants to get on with the crying.
What we are not doing is outright diagnosing characters, with the exception of one, because it turns out someone in a fandom server happened to be a professional therapist and had a rousing discussion with me on the topic of one of the characters and caught me up on how the DSM-5 has been interpreted recently. Very lovely conversation, but honestly, that's not what this is about. This is about talking about a bunch of characters with traits in common with people who don't quite fit the norm, celebrating all of it and making sure everyone feels included in the uninclusiveness, if you get my drift. That being said, I'm going to slip, especially considering that I'm almost certain that almost every character I'm going to talk about today has autism. But that's also because I'm really autistic, and just because every single person that stays in my life for more than 5 minutes also ends up being autistic means it's a little too easy to see it everywhere I go. For example, starting off with the golden example, did you know that autism was invented just a few years ago with the invention of Bang Dream It's My Go. Because, oh my god. This panel is more or less just a crash course of, I didn't see half of you here for the Bang Dream panel, that was 30 minutes ago, and their panel was so much better than mine, I'm sorry. Bang Dream's incredible. Also starring here on my shirt, because Tamori is on the spectrum to greatness. Tamori Takamatsu from Bang Dream is a character with some of the most straightforward depiction of undeniable autism I have ever seen. The very first thing we see from her is collecting rocks and categorizing her favorite themed band-aids based on the phylum of penguin that she has on each of the band-aids. Writing songs about how she doesn't fit in with any place she's ever been in her life. Feels like everyone is always on it, stepping to a different beat than she is. And she just can't find quite what her place in the world is supposed to be. And thought collecting pill bugs was really, really cool and gave her little girlfriend at like 4 years of age a ton of pill bugs and got an angry call from her mother. And you're gonna notice there's a little plushie down here. I wonder what that means. We bring up Tamori first because, oh my god, not only is she one of the best representations I've seen in my entire life, they go above and beyond with representing the character in My Go, whereas in the first 3 episodes, on the 3rd episode, we get an entire episode told from Tamori's point of view.
First person, her eyes.
From her eyes. From childhood to the current time that she is in high school, and all of the different times she's felt a little burnt by being not quite the same as everyone else. And it is absolutely insane. I wanted to cry after watching it. It is like my highest recommendation. Up there with Abemuji, we're going to... And I could not believe the singing voice they put on this girl. They seriously made the best autistic representation you can find and made her get up on a stage and sing in front of everyone. Oh my lord.
I have the keyboard.
Another one, social anxiety. I'm just going with Bochi the Rock here, Tori Goto, because, well, she is not quite as realistic as I would like. Though personally, there is another pink thing in my life that, after having read enough about her, I kind of get the two intermixed just enough that I find it very, very difficult to distinguish how the situations are exaggerated or not in Bochi the Rock. Other than, if any of you have seen Bochi the Rock and not read the manga, they smooth things over a little bit in the anime. In the manga, it is just always sunny, but with girl bands. It is kind of nuts. No one gives a shit about each other. It's kind of wild. It's still great, but it is a different vibe. Severe paranoia about any sort of social situations, absolute terror at the idea of having to take a phone call, avoidance of social situations, extremely persistent, controls her life, her actions, can't do what you want to do. This is one of those things that I'm not actually going to be able to discuss in characters because it took me until I was 27 to find out I have generalized anxiety. My metric is so off because of that and how long I've had it. And that's a-okay, just I'm not going to be able to tell you a character who clearly has an anxiety disorder isn't neurodivergent in the slightest because I'm so far off. ADHD is a blank slate because I got diagnosed when I was 7 on this one. So we didn't know about the autism until way later. I can't distinguish ADHD and autism
Okay,
anymore.
joke over.
But we do have Anis Win Paletia, Anisphere Win Paletia from the Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated Princess and the Genius Young Girl. We're going to be getting to her series and specifics about her in just a little, especially a passage from the novel. Any of you anime onlys are going to lose your mind at what they cut out from both the manga and the anime. Characters who runs their mouths, impulsive, yet hyperfixation. Oh yeah, and this has that whole thing where she takes a little medicine that makes her lock the heck in. You know, everyone's kind of busy talking about it being estrogen, which yes it is, but I'm pretty sure it's also a stimulant. Hyperfocuses like mad, Next. Borderline personality disorder, which is our main fixation in my household. And it is why we watch things so slowly, because my wife loves seeing herself in fiction, and oh my god, she cannot take how much of herself she's getting to see with all the beautiful series we have been seeing in the last few years.
Most of them involve girls in bands.
Especially involving girls in bands. Gee whiz, I guess you can't go anywhere without a guitarist, a vocalist, or a bassist that has borderline personality disorder. I thought there were 3 B's about those, but you know. Nina Iseri from, I almost said BPD, Jesus Christ. Girls band Cry. Borderline personality disorder is kind of a fake thing, not really a fake thing. It is something they've been trying to reduce because they've realized for as long as the diagnosis has existed, it has honestly been used more as a, what is the word? More like a red mark to say that a person has difficulties with that are going to take a lot of resources and care in order to mitigate without any direct forms of treatment that consistently work, even though we've had advancements in things like DBT and whatnot in recent years. As a result, good news, in 2023, they changed the definition of borderline personality disorder. There's a ton of things they have to diagnose first before you get there. But good news, most of my family was diagnosed with it before that, so we're going to see it in a lot of characters, and I'm still going to be using the old definition. I'm not trying to start anything with that. It's just, oh my god, I love my women. Nina Iseri, intense fear of abandonment, intense idolization of another woman she knows named Momoka, who she may or may not have had a parasocial relationship with, which turned into a non-parasocial relationship, and intense impulsive behavior. We have 12 episodes, and I think 13 of those episodes have a fight in a public space that people are watching, and I freaking love it.
Should I put on the spikes?
We have a slide that says when to put it on.
Sorry.
You're good. Avoidant attachment, also known as quiet BPD. This one's actually a misnomer, because this is the character that I spoke to a very nice professional therapist about. This is Miyaki Shiori from Shukura, or Buying My Classmate Once a Week for 5,000 yen at a time, Their Time Together, which is an absolutely fantastic series that you should be reading on the website avelilium.com. Even though they kicked me out of their Discord server, don't ask, I cannot recommend their translation enough, because otherwise you are reading machine translated schlock. Emotional outbursts for quiet BPD are more internal, but occasionally they can lose control and make it external. When the fear becomes too intense, the only control we have over our lives is either to force the status quo or to destroy any relationship you have. If you ever had someone in your life who you know whenever things get bad, they just always do the single dumbest thing you possibly can think of in order to ruin what they have, in other words, burning the last bridge they have, it may be because they have a little something where the last piece of control they feel they have in their entire life is a single match to the bridge they have left. And exerting any form of control is less scary than having to live with no control over your life when everything else already goes whatever way it goes with no control over it.
She's talking about me, by the way.
More your sister.
For translation again?
Narcissistic personality disorder, the other side of the coin that is borderline personality disorder, with a key character that in recent years has been showing it off. Mai Oduka from There's No Freaking Way I'll Be Your Lover Unless.
Just say Watanabe.
Watanabe. An intense need to have value to those around her, an intense need to be the best, an intense inferiority complex, an intense need to not show anyone any vulnerabilities. Especially due to how this condition is named, it gets such a terrible rap. I have even had people in my life who have horrifically wronged me, who happen to absolutely have a diagnosis of this, but everyone is deserving of love. And if you want to see a good series where everyone is deserving of love, especially on this exact topic, you should check out There's No Freaking Way I'll Be Your Lover Unless.
which just finished a run over the last half a year, currently viewable on Remouth's YouTube. You can currently read my blog about it. You can currently read my fan fiction about it. You can currently see my photoshops. You missed my panel from it about last night. That's okay, it was kind of a shitpost.
Is the end of that sentence setting boundaries? Unless you set some gosh darn boundaries.
That one's being 15 years old.
Oh.
You know, a lot of people just kind of skip over the fact that everyone in Watanabe is 15. We'll get there.
Oh, good lord.
Oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense when you remember that.
I just want to add one small thing about this. This character does get better. After the anime, she has a severe touch phobia if even anyone as much as hugs her because she did something really wrong. They don't downplay the fact that she made a huge mistake.
Everyone likes to say that this character never saw any retribution. She has been suffering literally the entire time, but that's for the panel from last night. Dissociative identity disorder with a suspicious little plushie in the lower left. Sele Volieri and Sele Volieri. 2 girls, 1 body. Both have the same name. Separate tastes, separate traumas, everything, all while stuck in 1 body. And if any of you who are currently caught up on things want to say something about that, they added a body, don't get me started.
Okay, this is a commentary on last night's Honkai panel. They are not best friends.
We went to a Honkai Impact 3rd panel last night talking about how Sele and Bronya were very good childhood friends, and like, I guess you could say they're Kister sisters, but that'd be a little weird. They're not even blood related. They're not even from the same place. Estonia is not Siberia. Hello.
Like when in Sailor Moon they tried to play off them as cousins.
Yeah, and then you go to season 5, which got a dub later, and the very first thing you see is Uranus yelling, "I'm not going to let you sleep tonight," and everyone's like, do you have anything more you'd like to add as our resident little 2 girls in 1 body?
So this percent's different for everyone. For me, when my sister's facing, I literally feel like I'm watching a movie. I lose control about everything. I didn't understand what it meant at first. I thought I had mood swings. I thought I must be crazy. But knowing that there's literally a second person in my head, that the second thought stream in my mind is actually another person, and that I don't need to feel angry at myself for seeming insane to some people, has helped a lot in helping me find stability.
Having another girl in your body can be a wild experience. If you've ever heard things like, in particular, I know there's an episode on House MD where there is somebody with multiple personality disorder who, one of the ultras has a different allergic reaction to things than the primary facer. That shit's real, actually. I thought that was fake. We looked it up and double checked, and we even know people who have that same sort of shit going on. It is wild. We're still learning a lot about having multiple personalities ourselves with my lovely wife, since, gosh darn it, wouldn't you know it, there's not a lot of whole fiction, or not a lot of healthy discussion about it, but let's not get too off topic from Yuri real quick, but I'm just going to say real quick, hey, anyone remember Yu-Gi-Oh? Yeah. Anyone realize in hindsight that maybe we just all consumed a series where the main character explicitly has another character living inside of their head with their own personality traits, motivations, likes, differences, and we never thought a single thing about it? And then a little bit later in life, you go, ah, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit happens.
Yuki, get your ults on the phone. I want to duel.
Did we play Sele?
Yeah, we're playing Sele. Especially due to how she was done dirty in the panel last night. We're just going to play something a little real quick to celebrate our messy women, loving women, and how they fight for one another. very good friends.
何をしてるの？気がおかしくなった。扉はもう開かないの。もう助けられないの。もういいのよ。
海に行くって約束したのに。
So, I want to add one thing to that. So, later in the story, Sele finally comes out to Bronya, her girlfriend, as being plural, being two girls. And Bronya just randomly starts mentioning, oh, I've always known, one of you really hates spicy things, and the others always picky about her vegetables. We've always known there was something about you. By the way, do you have a different name? Do you want me to refer to you as something differently? And I cried like a baby.
Especially when she just goes, no, I still want to have the same name. Because the shit's messy, you don't... We could have an entire extra panel on the idea of wanting to still be one person while not being one person. One thing I do want to bring up as to why we bothered showing an entire 4-minute clip on that, though, in the beautiful representation of dissociative identity disorder there, you can tell there's some very obvious foiling going on with one of the characters being blue, white, and being somewhat helpless, and the other character being red, black, and the one being associated with strength. Then you think back on what we just saw, then you realize that the girl with the blue and white, who is just trying her very best, a little soft-spoken and whatnot, was the one that did every single piece of violence in that trailer.
The one who ripped her fingers apart on the rock trying to grip herself.
Because even though the second girl inside of you, who may be your protector, who may have been born out of trauma to protect you from others around you or even yourself and your own trauma responses, isn't necessarily going to be the big scary one, even if they're the one that technically brings all of the anger out for you. I have a policy against recommending gacha for any reason, but if you need to see high quality, genuine, from the heart writing about not only plurality, but every form of plurality you can ever find, you do need to check out Honkai Impact 3rd, and you cannot use gacha units in the story after the first year of content. You can't. Literally, you cannot use gacha in the story.
I have a question.
Hit me.
Was she using the honorific Onechan? That implies an age gap between the two characters?
Oh god.
Yes, they were in the same orphanage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One of them was for longer. They're the same age.
Oh, okay, okay.
I will say I do play the game, and right now they do have a login, so you can get any unit from 4.6.3 if you play for 8 days, including Sela. You can get that exact unit right there. So don't
I'm a
worry
little
about
behind. Where does that cut off? Just part 1 units, right?
No, from entirety before 6.3.
Oh yeah, and where I'm like 8. Yeah, okay, that line's up.
So you don't even have to gamble.
Let's go.
Oh, dang it.
Another subtype that I want to bring up, I'm sure at least some of you are a little confused as to who's on the slide right now. That's going to make sense in a little bit why I'm doing this, but we have nonverbal or 9 nonverbal types with this suspicious little plushie in the corner. We have Mutsumi from Bang Dream, It's Maigo, and from Ave Mujika, a girl who says about, in the first 12 episodes of Maigo, says 1 full sentence, and also it happened to be a sentence that triggered one of my partners to be nonverbal for about 3 days straight. It was a damn good sentence. You can find some really fucking good sentences in this series. And another one, we have Miyagi Shiori from Shunkara again. And oh my god, I was double checking what would be a good Miyagi to use for this slide. And the fact that we have 2 images of her next to each other on Google results that have her puffing up her cheeks and refusing to speak, one next to the other, is beyond hilarious. I cannot handle this. Miyagi speaks in literally the least amount of syllables possible in every situation. It's insane. And we say nonverbal girls and boys and things in my household. People keep making this joke to me, and then they come over to my house and they freak out that they're actually allowed to just start texting me instead. I don't know how people in neurotypical households work. That's not how I run my shit. Our golden example for a lot of things that you're going to find wide depiction of neurodivergency and showing that those characters are worthy of love, comfort, success, support networks, and other women with personality disorders or neurodivergencies would be Bang Dream, It's Maigo. We're going to try and keep spoilers at a minimum, but because we have to explain everyone's deal, we'll have some non-specific spoilers. Thankfully, Maigo's a few years old now, and that's not really the issue that we would be worried about spoiling at this exact moment. We wanted to talk about Avimuji, but that just hit like a 1-year-old. It took us until, 2 weeks ago to finally finish Avimujica because of the amount of PTSD meds that we had to throw around in the household per episode to watch it. Avimuji is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life, but they were not joking when they said they were going to make a psychological horror show. We'll talk about that in a minute, though. Once again, Tomori from earlier. We talked about her earlier, so this is short. Oh my god, once again, one of the best depictions of autism I have ever seen. Cannot say enough about this girl, and how dare they put her up on a stage and make her sing. Oh my god, her voice is amazing. Kakishina, a girl with a severe inferiority complex, severe imposter syndrome, and she's also an autism chaser.
What's that term mean?
Autism chaser. Do we have another slide on that?
Is that like a tornado chaser?
Desperately in love with an autistic girl voice. Tomori, do you sort your band-aids out by color and pattern? Do you see this shit? Do you see this shit? Look, some people go and get really excited about collecting plushies of their favorite series. This bitch owns a plushie of me. And you may have noticed a suspicious little marker in the lower left panel I keep pointing out. I've already pre-marked every character I am certain that Taki owns a plush of, because I know my shit. Anon Chihaya, kind-hearted, self-centered, literally fantasizes and collapses in joy when she imagines herself being so important that she would stand in front of the lead member of her own band just to be a little bit more important, beloved, and seen. Needs to be so important that she joins a band without knowing how to play an instrument? And a dweeb. Oh my god. Have you seen her glasses? They're bigger than her head. I want a pair. I need to know where I can buy a pair. I don't need glasses, so I need to know where to get non-prescription lenses. This is serious. Also, maybe light narcissistic traits, but anytime you get into that subject, I really don't know who has it worse between borderline personality disorder and NPD. It's kind of nuts. Either way, I stand, I love. When I started Maigo and meeting Anon, I thought I was meeting a character that would get me killed if I went to the wrong place on Tumblr and started talking positively or negatively about her. And I was wrong. But then I watched Abimuji, so I found out what it's like to go to a dark place in Tumblr and get shamed. We have Rana. Being a cat is a form of neurodivergency. I know a lot of cats, so I'm pretty confident.
Okay, but here's the real slide.
But serious, a girl who is also nonverbal, unable to care about anything other than her fixation, which happens to be going and playing the guitar whenever she wants and feeling welcome in doing it. Literally shows up and leaves, plays music, does whatever she wants, eats all of your food, eats the other band's catered food, anything green, and then she's gonna be pissed when she finds out it's not matcha. She's just a cat, and thanks to going to the previous panel, I now found out she's explicitly been set by the producer to be a bridge from the older Bang Dream series and the newer Bang Dream series, and that makes sense, and that also makes sense why everyone has difficulty shipping her with other characters. What were we talking about again?
Soyo.
And Soyo, a character that my wife hated with all of her heart until she finally sat down and went, damn, is that a mirror? Seems well put together at a first glance, but is actually a huge mess. Tries to be a people pleaser, impulsive, outright violent at times, even if she doesn't particularly hurt anyone. So damn, she hurt my family with some of the lines she said. Like I said, good sentences, we got them. And obsessed with gaining what she's lost, since she feels like she has no control over her life in the first place. So the last bit of control she thought she had, she wants to regain it. There is an absolutely amazing manga about her for any of you that have watched Maigo and not read the Maigo manga. It takes place during, but you're supposed to read it after. It gives a little bit too much away too quickly. But oh my god, I love Soyo so much, and she is such a bitch.
Don't be mean to me.
Ave Mujika, The Die is Cast, is another show that I can just point at 6 characters and just say exactly what their deal is and that they are some of the best representation we've ever had on television for them. And for example, right here we have, I'm not going to talk about this, 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 I'm not going to talk about this. I'm pretty sure Nyamu's 30. I think Nyamu's neurodivergency is she's 30 and hanging out with a bunch of 15-year-olds. She's the only character we don't see go to school. We even see the cat go to school. Since Habibuchi's only a year old, we're not saying shit. You're not getting anything out of me. Like I said, we barely finished it, and there's so much. And you all should go and do yourself a favor and watch it. Hello.
I've heard that one of the Ave Mujika characters is basically what if Char Aznavour from Gundam was a band girl.
I have seen that fan art, and yes, they are correct.
Okay.
Sorry. That character stands up and said, "Oh, I'll just become God."
And we thought that was episode 2. I can't believe how upsetting it is to find out that was like the second to last episode. It's like starting Breaking Bad and finding out every single meme you've ever seen is from the last episode. So, now we're going to be getting into major highlights. if we run out of time, which would be impressive with how good I am at yapping about my hyperfixations, all of y'all can ask questions as you go. I'm so sorry if I missed anything. I'm just kind of doing my own thing up here. But you saw the giant slide we had at the beginning that we're going to show again. There's so much to talk about, so little time, and God forbid, I can literally just go to that slide and do 4 panels worth in one go without prep. So, as we mentioned earlier, the magical revolution of the reincarnated princess and the genius young girl. Something I'm not going to spend too much time on is the debate of how many of these series are actual Yuri or not, because some people don't understand that you can just look at what magazine a series is printed in to instantaneously find out if whether or not a series is genuine at heart in depicting lesbian fiction. It's called I actually forgot the name of the magazine. I'm not talking about Yuri Hime, it's what is it?
I don't know.
Manga Time Kirara. If it's posted in Manga Time Kirara, no matter what anyone tells you, yeah, that shit's gay. Like, come on. Like, get with the program. Look, New Game ended, and the very last page goes, these two went and got married as soon as it got legalized. They were fucking waiting. Anyway, this series is extremely gay, and more importantly, for any of you who hadn't read the original novel, I lost my mind when I read this direct passage. From what I can tell, there seemed to be some similarity to what had been called mental illness in my past life in this world. Humans are more prone to these difficulties, which I assumed was the result of coexisting with spirits. That's why a great many nobles here seem to suffer from mental illness or physical ailments, because they were unable to properly release the magical energy building up inside of their bodies. There is a direct correlation in Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated Princess and the Genius Young Lady between autism and casting magic real frickin' good. If only there was a correlation between being a bottom and casting magic, then we'd be in a different place right now. Actually, we should probably go back real quick, 2 slides. Oh my god, all 3 of these women are very, very, very strongly presenting autistic. Especially, honestly, I don't even know where to begin or end on them because it is everything. We already mentioned the Miss having ADHD and having to take medication on a regular basis in order to perform in the way that she wants to be her true self, which is still so funny I cannot say it with a straight face. We have the girl who is literally unable to cope with the social situation she's been put in by having her engagement thrown off in a public place for nefarious reasons. Damn, I've never heard of that happening before in my life. And we have the girl that the author just absolutely hates and doesn't include in any of her novels, and as far as I know, still doesn't have a girlfriend, and every single adaptation drastically increases her screen time, who spends all of her time learning how to curse bitches in her household, because she is so full of dark magic. She coughs and falls over and can't get out of bed for a week. We love our sick boy girls in this house. Girls Band Cry, as we mentioned earlier, is just an example of what happens when you have any band come together. You find out which of the Bs has a major personality disorder, and a vocalist in Japan technically starts with a B. I cannot overstate how blatant it is that Nina Iseri has BPD, or something directly adjacent to BPD, and not only that, but Tomo as well, who has an entire set of episodes detailing the fact that she does not know how to give anyone feedback in any way, shape, or form without crushing them underneath her foot, because the standard she holds herself to is so high that she knows that she will never be able to reach it, and she can only see other people asking for her opinion to be trying to bring them to the same standard that she herself cannot reach, usually ruining their entire mood. And fun fact about this series and Nina Iseri, the main character, the main writer of the show publicly bitches about her and how she ruined the show because she just keeps taking up all of the screen time, and they're trying, literally, up here, her name escapes me because I'm doing a panel. She doesn't even get her own episode because Nina took up so much time that they couldn't find the time to put an episode in for her, and they even confirmed it on Twitter and blamed Nina because Nina's antics, where, for the example, in the second episode, she assaults a drunk businessman with a light fixture. I am not making that up. That is verbatim what happens. And because this show is in 3D CG, they let all of the characters look really frickin' ugly. Like, you know how in some series, everyone has to be beautiful ugly because we have to have all the characters be attractive and desirable? And no, these bitches are picking dirty fights and screaming in ramen bars at 2 a.m. And I love it so much. But of note, funny story, a lot of authors tend to end up writing fantastic depictions of personality borderline disorder just by modeling characters after specific things. You can, in shorthand, call it wanting to write a yandere or similar. For BPD specifically, you can get quiet autism or quiet BPD with modeling someone after a black cat. What happened with Nina is insane. I haven't checked interviews to see if they actually dropped the word or not for BPD, especially considering different language, different blah, 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 blah. However, it is very obvious that they inspired Nina entirely off of the hedgehog's dilemma of a creature that looks cute and harmless but can't help but hurt anyone it tries to get close to. And the visual that they use whenever Nina starts splitting being a condition or a state that people with borderline personality disorder can go into where they can no longer discern anything between black and white. There's no ambiguity. It's either everything is 100% true or 100% false. There's no in-betweens. And not only that, but emotions become indistinguishable from logic, which is a difficult concept, but if any of this starts ringing true, start doing some research and we love you. However, Nina specifically has a visual cue anytime she starts splitting when people are giving her shit. And you don't see it enough in fan art, especially because it looks best while moving. Here's Nina receiving a phone call from her bitch mom, and you can see how you can tell she's going through it and perfectly representing it with a visual metaphor.
ですよね。はい。
あ、やっと出た。お母さん、みんな出たよ。
ごめん、電池切れちゃってて。
何しようと。おじさんこっちに電話かけてきたっぱい。いつまで経っても来んって。
わかっと。明日行くけん。
うるさか、ほっとけ。
じゃあ。
あんたさ、本当にそっちでやっていけると？
ごめん、電池ないから。
Those red and black spines are literal manifestations of her emotional turmoil, and those things flare up in various sizes, shapes, and whatnot as she goes through the series. And I can just ramble about this one specific aspect so much. I'm in love with it. I have seen her do this. I have gotten on those spikes. It's not great.
So have I.
But it is quite literally just the metaphor of a hedgehog putting out her quills, and goddamn do her quills look beautiful when she is on stage singing and scared out of her mind. There is no freaking way I'll be your lover unless a series very near and dear to my heart, and y'all should have been at my panel. Not really, it was at 12:30. Jesus Christ. We have Loud Autism, the yapper who cannot shut the hell up about whatever she's passionate about to the point that she can't read a social cue and has suffered grievously in her life because of it. We have the NPD, already discussed. We have the quiet autism, and some of you are going, what the hell do you mean? And I go, no, there was a movie that came out around New Year's. It's on YouTube. You forgot the last 5 episodes. You should go watch those. They're really good. You can check out my blog. I'm doing an analysis of them. I've already written 40,000 words. At 50K, that becomes a small book, and that's kind of fucked up that I've written that much that easily. And we have Quiet BPD, and oh my god, Satsuki's suffering, and I need Volume 9 to come out right the frick now. I don't want to get too much into this because, once again, I spent an entire hour on my panel last night and I managed to hit it. But every single character in the series is just a book on a very similar level to Maigo or Abemuji of women struggling with their own passions, their feelings for one another, trying to navigate life, struggling with the ways that society does not accept them and how others do not accept them, and coming together and forming something truly beautiful. Shut up. In lieu of yapping my mouth about this, does anyone have any smart comments on Watanari real quick? I'll even take pot shots.
I have something not about Watanari, but you mentioned quiet autism for the first time in the panel, and therefore I have to ask, Soletta Mercury?
Yes, so you're gonna have to forgive me, I didn't include Witch from Mercury in this panel because, let's face it, candidate for most seen show that fits under this panel. Am I excluding it because of something? No, literally just the fact that I want to show y'all something you haven't seen, and we all have heard about Gundam and people yapping about it, and no one talking about that god-awful episode in the second season where we just go and see the rebel war being fought on a planet, completely taking the tone out of everything because every single Gundam show is cursed to have a second core that completely shits the bed. No one talks about that, but goddamn are we happy that they're married, and goddamn am I happy that Super Robot Wars Y decided that every single time they're on screen they're going to talk about how they're wives. I did not think they were going to let them do that, considering all of the bullshit they pulled behind the scenes, but they did. Other Side Picnic. If you have not read Other Side Picnic, please go and read Other Side Picnic. What? Quoting from Yuri of Absence? What, the whole frickin' thing?
Yeah.
Or what, accomplices? What do you want?
No. Just talk about Yuri Miyazawa.
Yuri Miyazawa, the author of this book, or that guy that your friend from B-Sky will not shut the fuck up about, and how he gave an interview about how the empty vista on a mountain is a true depiction of the love between two women, and that any man trying to get in between two lovely women who are in love with each other should get shot and killed. If no one has been annoying to you about these interviews, I don't believe you. You weren't paying attention to your friend, and that's fine. They yap about as much as I do. But you can just Google the absence of Yuri, and every single line from that interview is kind of gold, to the point that no one talks about the second interview, where they discuss with him the fact that he uses, when he started giving lectures in VR chat, he chose not to be depicted as a pretty woman in VR chat, and the interviewer asked her why. And him, with his ring-tailed lemur VR cat model, responded, well, I don't want to be a virtual beautiful woman. This is recorded. I don't have to say shit. He's just saying it himself. So as a result, Other Side Picnic, a series inspired not only by Toho's Usami Renko and Maribel Hearn stories, the Ghost Club, whatever that escapes me at this exact moment, but it's also based on Roadside Picnic, that novel that your other annoying friend who says less, but is very strong-willed about it, says is absolutely worth your time, from Ukraine, who won't stop playing stalker and talking about a shotgun that they found under a tree that you can go find if you avoid the bloodsucker. This is a series for you, and not only is this a series for you, the main character, everyone talks about how autistic she is, to the point that the author had to finally come out and comment, hey, so I just found out that the English word autism and autistic translates by most machine translation methods to the Japanese slur for that. So I did not understand what English fans were going on about for a while. But he commented on that much at least, and he's very thrilled that anyone feels seen by the character and the perils of the character, which is probably why novel 8 involves a lot of characters sitting her down and going, have you ever wondered if you're aromantic or asexual? Hey, those are really cool, but you should probably find out about those and start acting on it if that's your deal, because you can't keep doing this shit with your girlfriend and acting like it's not going on. Hey, remember that thing 3 books ago where you said, that's really weird, you're acting like my boyfriend? And then you didn't understand what it meant when she had 2 moms? Thorwald Kamakoshi is a treasure of a woman who one time gave a story about how when she was at wit's end and her childhood home, her father and mother had fallen in with a literal cult, and they were doing some pretty bad things, especially with their finances and whatever else they were doing with her hand. So Sorbo had gotten to the point that she was sitting at home waiting with 2 cans of kerosene next to her, waiting for her parents to come home so that she could finally take care of a problem. And that was the day that her parents didn't come home. And that's when she managed to get a scholarship to a Tokyo University and had to pull her life together herself as a girl who spends all of her time hyperfixating on internet creepypasta and ghost stories and watching Minecraft YouTubers, like that time in the 7th book where they literally start talking about Minecraft Let's Plays, a game she has never played. Other Side Picnic is one of the best things I've ever read. The premise is 2 beautiful women, one being a Sorwo Kamakoshi, a Japanese woman who has 8 different frickin' hoodies. I wonder why trans women love her so much. And the most god-awful shirts you have ever seen. One of the covers of the manga literally has her with a shirt that just says, awkward. And she's just wearing this around as if she knows what it says. And her 6'1" blonde, beautiful girlfriend is so enraptured by her autism, she cannot escape the orbity of her gravity. Gravity of her orbit.
Orbity of her
Seriously, real quick, on the story side, I cannot stress enough how cool it is that this entire gimmick is about how internet creepypasta and ghost stories become true, and the author goes as far as to bibliographically cite every single internet-based ghost story that he finds with the very first instance of it and the history of it, and how cool it is to have that level of research put into a series that is also, ultimately, about girls kissing. Oh my god, that's Anya's digital. Oh shit, okay.
There's a Tachyon too.
Oh, of course, sorry. I recognize Tachyon. We had to find Tachyon merch for her. She forced me to watch your movie. It was amazing. Thank you for giving me estrogen. Honkai Impact 3rd, which we have already talked about a little bit. Holy shit. There are like 7 different depictions of dissociative identity disorder in the main cast alone. And all of you who have not played it, but play Honkai Star Rail or Genshin Impact, hey, ever notice all of a sudden the writing gets way, way better and one of the characters suddenly starts having another facet of themselves shown? Like all of a sudden we're learning about Venturine's past, and he's got like the future cynical twink version of himself and the past baby twink version of himself while he's busy being walked around on a chain and leash. And all of a sudden he's got these different versions of himself he's talking to. Or everything that happens in fucking Fontaine. You know that anytime the main writer of Honkai Impact 3rd writes for one of the other games, a character immediately becomes plural and has other versions of themselves? I just thought that was neat and consistent. I hope they're okay.
You know how it is.
Just to go over the very bare basics, what are we doing for time, actually?
8 minutes.
8 minutes. Ronya is a wonderful autistic baby. She actually has like weird medically induced autism with having half of her brain burnt out. And hey, that sounds kind of gross and weird. Don't worry about it. All of the versions of Ronya that don't have that are also autistic, so I don't really think it counts. Like, that's cool. Every woman in this photo is plural, which is really fucking neat. And all 3 have completely different forms, with Bronya having the consciousnesses of 30,000 different people speaking to her all at once. Kiana having another damn girl in her head, who you've probably seen art of her with, and people whining that she's only been playable once. And Raiden Mei, who literally has a headmate who stopped paying rent and moved out, but sometimes picks up her calls when they remember to bring her up, and it's explicitly part of the plot that they left because they weren't wanted. And that is really neat. Takishina absolutely has a plushie of Bronya, are you joking? She owns every Bronya plush that has been published, and at least one Sparkle. Yuri is my job. Hey, remember when I said that thing about Avimuji and needing PTSD medication? Yeah, so Yuri is my job is on the exact same level of those three, some of the best depictions of autism and everything else that could be going on wrong with a person I've ever seen, except for Mai, voiced by the beautiful Yukari Tamura. She's diagnosed with capitalism. It's okay. Maybe we'll get to her one day, but at least she's one of the only characters I've ever seen in a series who brings up, hey, you know that age of consent is below that, right? You're going to jail for this shit. That is a real thing that happens. Yuri is my job, one of the highest recommendations I could possibly give. It is a bunch of neurodivergent women going to work at a cafe where they have to put on a show of acting like they're in a Yuri-themed Class S environment with their One-chans and their kohais, and through having to act as another character, realizing that they are in fact neurodivergent and how they're finally finding out they are different than all of the people around them in their lives, and how that is going to cause problems between them, their friends, who they want to be, how they're doing it. And if any of you show up in my DMs telling me that the business model of the cafe doesn't make any sense, that's how I know you started with the anime. Yes, it was a mistake for them to show more of the store instead of keeping it as a metaphor for the fact that they're basically in drama club. Yes, I don't want to think about how having to run that. I used to run 2 restaurants. I don't want to think about that. They are so pissed that no one's taking their order. Magical Girl, Miracle Yamaha. My tag is Takamamchi. I've been on my bullshit for 22 years now. But anyway, Magical Girl Miracle Yamaha, a show that is getting a new series this July. They just announced it's going to be an hour-long opening episode. Has one of my first big depictions of a woman in a series that has the same issues I have, but I didn't quite know what they were, in Faith Testarossa, a character whose last name does not match my character tag, funny how that works, who definitely had autism and had to live with an abusive mother explicitly on screen. And we get to see her go from being 9 years old to 23 years old, growing through the parental trauma that she went through, becoming a parent herself, making decisions on how she raises her children with that woman that shares a bed with her that isn't her wife. They share a bed and file taxes and do laundry and raise a child together and both leave. It's the whole thing. And being able to see not only her neurodivergence, but the maternal legacy of the trauma in the series and how that gets inflicted on her, how she grows out of it, and how she has to make the same decisions, grow past them with her daughter, and what all of that's going to mean to her. And then see their daughter start to take on people under their wing as well. This series is explicitly aimed at men, and yet this is a series about maternal trauma from top to bottom, from episode 1 to the last episode, and that is wild. I am never getting this anywhere else, and I will talk about this till the day I die. Shukura, or a story about buying my classmate once a week. Yuri Miyagi, who has barely disqualified herself out of a case of beautiful princess disorder. This is the one where I met a nice little therapist. She technically falls under C cluster attachment avoidance issue.
No, she's absolutely too violent for that.
However, I'm going to trust the guy that has a literal doctorate in it. I don't give a shit. This isn't my fight. I'm just going to talk about him behind his back, but be really polite about him everywhere else. We're short on time, and I started reading the series in Japanese because I needed to know what was going to happen, and I have never seen a woman less able to pick out a favorite color for herself and desperate to wear a collar than I have seen in this series. And I also put this on the top of the list of things I can recommend. Take out your phone and screenshot this one and go to avelilium.com and read the stuff they have on there. It is so wonderful. You're not going to find a story written like it anywhere else. Licorice Recoil. Holy shit, Takina. Y'all, Takina? Holy shit. I mean, Chisano has ADHD. That's really great. We need a season 2, but I cannot believe that we are giving women with this much going on free use of guns in a city, and I'm so excited to see more of it. And we have an entire episode of them being fascinated with the idea of putting on men's underwear without a single word of whether they're a little bit odd in the head or not. Let alone the fact that, look, I own a plush of Taki. She absolutely has autism. I'm not taking any questions. Have you seen how this girl works? Have you seen how fixated she is on Chisato? I love all of it so much. We need the second season. By the way, if you've been staring at my shirt and going, are you fucking serious? Is that a Tomori Maigo shirt saying she is on the spectrum to greatness? Yes. Someone put together these 3 amazing Bandori shirts that immediately sold out, but there are still some copies of them in their shop, and I think they're going to restock. I know one of them is completely sold out. I think it's the Tomori one, but my wife is actually wearing the DID one under her. You don't need to take off the cosplay, it's too late. She's wearing the DID one where there are suspiciously 2 women that look identical to each other. I have no idea who that could have been. Maybe there's a reason that I suspiciously timed some of the slides and didn't mention something about some characters. And the BPD Soyo shirt here. Here's a QR code. Just go to their shop, give them money, bless them. I'm so happy I can wear this. Kind of had to rip my cosplay open during the last panel because I couldn't believe they were literally doing this shtick, but better. They were such a good panel. And if you are curious about following any of us, either on Blue Sky at the bottom, our archive of our own accounts, my personal blog, largely about Watanabe, but I'm almost done and caught up on Watanabe, and I'm going to have to yap about something else until we get a second season, which, you know, the Watanabe movie outperformed the Demon Slayer movie, the Reze arc Chainsaw Man movie, and the Jujutsu Kaisen movie. What timeline are we living in? My neurodivergent Yuri was outselling Chainsaw Man? That was at the lead up to that movie involved a short storybook where Reniko goes out and starts talking about Chainsaw Man with Satsuki. This is a real thing. It wasn't even a redacted name. Satsuki starts listing who her favorite demons are. And Watanabe outdid it in theaters. What is going on? Regardless, if you'd like to hear more about any part of this, or read any suspicious fan fiction that is extremely well tagged for all of the wonderful and awful shit that we put girls through, here are some QR codes for you, and we'd love to see you.
They are wonderful writers.
And we are 1 minute over. If anyone has any lasting questions, you can come up here and ask. I'm so sorry I didn't manage to leave time. This is my second ever panel. Thank you all so much for coming. Oh my god.
It means so much that so many of you came.
She didn't follow any of my script.
Where the hell is the other Yuri panel? How is this the main Yuri panel?
Because what good Yuri doesn't have girls who are a little bit going through it?
I can name like 2. Oh wait, going through it. Okay, that's a definite definition. I can't name any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.